I claim that this is the saddest thing about our lives today, that the predominant mode of politics today is what? Is what people call, in learned terms, post-political biopolitics. That is to say, it's no longer the standard politics about ideological issues. It presents itself, of course, really it is still politics, as expert administration of social life. That's the official myth. No? With the 1990, the era of ideology is over. We have now pragmatic politics of expert administration, of rational compromise, and so on and so on. And such a politics simply is biopolitics, tries to protect us, our lives, and so on and so on, control our lives, and so on. But the only way to introduce into this politics a minimum of passion is, of course, fear. Did you notice how all minimally passionate mobilizations today are mobilizations based on fear? It can be fear of immigrants, foreigners. It can be fear of ecology. It can be fear, you have even leftist fears, fear of harassment. It can be whatever, fear of godless sexual depravity, fear of the excessive state power itself, and so on and so on. It is fear. And which is why, to make a brief excursus into the way I was informed, what happens here. You know that you should recognize, even when people claim that they have a positive vision, like the anti-modernist Catholics who are hegemonic today in Poland, I claim it's really politics of fear. The point is not we have firm values. The point is we are afraid of modernization. We will protect you for modernization. It is fear. So let's go on. Who is the ultimate object of fear? Of whom are we really afraid? I claim of what people, or what in Judeo-Christian tradition we call neighbor. Neighbor is something pretty horrible, you know, as Freud knew, which is why this motto, love your neighbor as yourself, is something very ambiguous. First, some strange conclusions about this fear of the neighbor, immigrants, and so on. You remember the scandal 2 years ago of that anti-Muhammad caricatures in the Danish newspaper. I think there is a very sad lesson to be drawn from it, that because of our global ideological constellation, the first effect of fast globalization, like we live today in the global village, we can immediately learn what goes on in China, in Kuwait, and so on, is more animosity. It is as if the others are coming, the way we experience it, ideologically, of course, too close to ourselves, which is why I tend to even agree, as a Marxist, with some conservatives who claim that maybe what we need is a proper ethics of distance. I think maybe the first thing to do, not just some kind of realistic compromise, but quite sincerely, is to get rid of this universalist, humanist obsession. We should understand each other, open ourselves to others, and so on and so on. One big happy understanding family. No, I don't want to be friends with everybody else. I don't want to understand everybody else, and so on. I want to have a proper code of distance. What I like is precisely a certain degree of alienation. You are there, I am here. We live in the same street, maybe in the same buildings, but you live in your world, I live in my world. And of course, I'm not for particular life worlds, this isolationism. I think that we need solidarity, but not this kind of a warm cultural solidarity. Oh, there are deeper values which connect us. The only solidarity I like is the solidarity of struggle. I discover I have problems, I have my fight, you have your fights. Let's see if we can share our fights.